At this point in time, I forgot what step we were on, but you have gotten pre-qualified. You found an agent. You've looked at houses. You got the house under contract. You negotiated repair requests, and got the appraisal. It came back good. Now what? Now what do you do? Well, now the lender's going to ask you for some things in between there. That's going to verify income and all that stuff, and they're going to ask you to get an escrow account set up and quote for insurance. I'm not really familiar with all the details and ins and outs of that. I'm the sticks and bricks person. They're the paper money people, so they're going to deal with that. But once they get all that sorted, the next step is closing. And so what's going to happen at closing is, we are going to get a notification from a title agency saying you are good to close on this house and you are about to be a homeowner. What we're going to do is about 3 to 1 days before that actual closing date, me and you are going to go, we're going to go walk that house one more time. Make sure that all those repairs were done appropriate, completed the way we requested them. We're going to make sure that if there were people living in the house, they didn't gouge the floors or leave big holes in the walls, because the house has to be in the same shape or better than it was when we first looked at it. So if for some reason it's been sitting empty, we're just make sure that the pipes are still there, that nobody came in and stole all the copper and whatnot. We're going to get a notification called a closing disclosure that breaks down all the costs of this is what the seller paid and this is what they're going to get paid, and here's all the costs that you're accruing, and here's John's commission and what he's getting paid and all that stuff. And it's going to have a final number at the bottom for your down payment, and if you have closing costs and all that stuff that you need to bring to closing. How do you get that money to the closing table? Well, first thing, don't bring cash. Don't bring stacks of cash. Title agencies don't like that, because if you bring them stacks of cash, they have to take those stacks of cash to the bank and be like, I did not get this from a cartel, and justify where that money came from. So there's two ways that work best for that. One is a wire transfer, and they have the details on how to get that money, wire transferred from your financial institution to theirs. Usually want to do that like a day before closing, just to make sure that there's enough time and pad there, so it doesn't get hung up and we end up sitting at the closing table for that to clear. Or you can bring a certified check, which most people, that's the route they go, is bring a certified check. Now you've brought the money, we're sitting at the closing table. They bring out a stack of papers like this. It may feel like this, but it's really only like this. And you are just going to sign and sign and sign. And I hope you did some stretches and finger exercises for those 30 days leading up to now we're at closing, because we don't want you cramping up halfway through signing and not getting through it. But now you're just going to sign a ton of papers. And then what happens after that? Well, congratulations, you're a homeowner. We're going to give you a set of keys. As a real estate agent, I'm going to ask you to take a picture and smile real big with me, and you're a homeowner. So congratulations, you've been through the process. Usually takes us about 30 to 45 days to get there, and that's buying a home.